This is another system of equations just like yesterday, except that this one is challenging in the sense that as soon as I look at these columns, I look at the x column, I don't see anything that cancels. I look at the y column, I don't see anything that cancels. And then there's this other pesky business that my numbers are over here on the left when I'm used to seeing them over on the right. The big thing structurally, though, is that there's no variable that eliminates here. So I'm going to multiply either the numerator or the denominator by something that's going to make the variable cancel. And what I'm looking at this 5 and the 3. I could times this times 3 and this times 5, and that would do it, or negative 5. But then I look at the y's and I notice something even easier, which is that this is 2, and I wouldn't have to multiply the second one times anything if I multiply the top times 8, because 8 times 2 gives me 16. And looking even further, I notice that this is already negative and this is positive, so they're set up as opposites already. So it should be, as I'm done, that distributing the 8 to this 2 is going to make my y's eliminate because they will be opposites. So let us set things up. I'm going to reserve some space over here to solve for x. And then this is where I'm going to solve for y. Actually, this is going to be solved for x. My y's are going to cancel, so this side is for solving for y. So I only have to distribute the top. 8 times 5 is 40. X, don't forget the x. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Y. And I do have to distribute to this negative 4. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. Distribute 8 to the 0 is going to be 0, and so this is still equal to 0. So that's the top equation. The bottom equation I don't have to do anything to because the plus 16y here is already set up to cancel. And minus 54 I don't mess with. And another strategy would have been, I bet there's a lot of people out there that are still, as soon as when you see something that doesn't fit the pattern, it's like your brain kind of is like, this is not fitting my pattern, I can't continue. There's no reason I can't just distribute and keep going from there, even though this 32 is on the wrong side of the equation. Some people would have moved it over first thing and made it positive 32 over here. But life goes on. We're just going to continue. Even though this is on the wrong side, we're just going to continue because everything's still making sense. 40 and 3 make 43x. These are opposites, so they cancel. I had to set it up so that they cancel. And 32 and 54 make 86. And that's equal to 0. I was tempted to put the equal sign there, but I always line it up. The opposite of 86 is plus 86. And I am almost done because 43 times x is equal to 86, which means that x is 2 because I divide both sides by 43, and 43 goes into 86 2 times. And now I'm ready to solve for y. I think this equation is going to be a little bit easier because I have a 2 in front instead of the 16. That means my numbers are going to be a little bit smaller, so that's the one I'm going to pick to start with. I'm just going to copy it down. Don't do anything to it. And now I can replace, looks like I can replace the x. I can replace the x with 2. So now that's 5 times 2. Don't write 52. Even though there's a 5 next to a 2, it means 5 times 2, not 52. So this is 5 times 2 is 10. Minus 2y minus 4 is 0. And now I kind of regret not moving the 4 in the first place because I've got some like terms over here. But again, there's no reason not to panic. I'm just going to combine the like terms on the same side. Because I know that if I have like terms on the same side, that's what I'm supposed to do. 10 minus 4 is 6, and it's positive 6, because there were more positives in the 10. And I need to bring the negative 2y straight down. That's equal to 0, and subtract 6. Negative 2y is negative 6. That means y is equal to 3 after I divide by 2. So I wanted to do this one as just an additional example of a challenging system. I multiplied the numerator, or the top equation rather, by 8 in this problem. And also an example of just how pesky it is if the numerical term is on the wrong side to start with. Might have been easier to just go ahead and move this before I did anything, so that it's in standard form, 5x minus 2y equals 4. That might be, depending on how you feel about things, especially this step here where I had two terms on the same side, might have been better to just put it into standard form to start with.